Oh, look at that. It is another Wednesday, another hump day. Hey, happy hump day. I am your host, Mad Morgan. Thank you for joining me for episode 98 of Soapbox Daily. Today, I'm going to talk about things a little lighter. I think I've been talking about some kind of gray things lately, but today we're going to talk about something that's I think we can all relate to. But before we get into that, how has your integrity been this week? How's your integrity today? Are you being a positive change? Are you being the change the world needs? Only you will know. And hey, every day, onwards and upwards, evolve to be the best you can be. Today we're talking about, and here's our topic, the greatness of getting old. Now, I know some of you might say, what kind of greatness is there of getting old? Getting old sucks. Well, whether you're in your early 20s or a decade or two past that, you consider some reasons that getting older is the way to go. I mean, like you had a choice, right? I know some people are like, oh, I'm going to live large and die young while I can and all that. And I'm sorry, but getting old is a privilege and it is an awesome experience for a lot of reasons. I don't understand people that want to waste so many years of potential experiences, greatness, by being stupid in their youth and risking it all. It doesn't make sense to me because there are some benefits to getting older. Because when we're in our youth, I love this because we've all been there. In our youth, we think we got it all figured out. We're still trying to figure it out in our early years before we're a teenager. And then by the time we're a teenager, we think we got it all figured out. We think we have all the answers. We know everything. Nobody can tell us differently. We're awesome. Yes, we are it. We know everything. Nobody can tell us different. We could take on the world. We are invincible. And that's the ignorance and arrogance of being a teenager. Now, hopefully, in our late teens, early 20s, we smarten up and realize a few things. Not always. Some people never grow up from the teenage years when they're still living that arrogance, thinking that they have it all figured out and know all the answers and are invincible. They don't mature beyond that point and stick into that mentality. Well, as I said, unfortunately, not everybody matures. But for those of us that do evolve and do mature and do grow beyond that point, we've come to realize a few things. And it's kind of funny because as you get older, you start realizing that stuff that was so meaningful and you got so wrapped up on and bent out of shape on and that just was so powerful in your existence when you were young as a teenager is irrelevant. As you get older, you realize that's so stupid what you worried about. And that's a sign of maturity. That's a sign of wisdom. That's a sign of growing up. So let me give you some points as to what happens when you get older. Because in your early 20s or your teens, you worry about stupid things. But when you get older, here's some points of things that you just slide into, which is great. And this is what the greatness is of getting old. Number one, you're more comfortable in your own skin. When you get older, you're more comfortable with who you are. You have confidence. You realize it's not about looks. You realize it's not about all that crap. You realize you are of substance and what really matters. So you dress the way you want to dress. You present yourself to the world the way you want because you know the good person that you are. Another thing about getting old is you have old friends. Try trusted and true relationships that stood the test of time. Think of the relationships you had in high school versus the friendships you maintain when you're older. There's something heartening and life-giving about having a friend who has known you for a long time. That's incredible because you've lived life together. You've experienced stuff. When you're older, you can relate more to people. That's definite. No longer defined as a youth, you found that you can confidently navigate conversations with those of all age groups and life stages because you've been there. So you have that experience, that versatility. You've had more life experiences because, well, you've lived longer. The longer you live, the more experiences you have in common with others, which makes life so much richer. I mean, it's incredible. The versatility you have because of the life experiences you have, so you can relate to stuff. No longer it's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I mean, you're more connected. In that growing up stage, you don't know a lot of people. You don't really have a whole network. But when you get older, you built that network over your lifetime. Well, another thing about being older is wisdom because you're wiser. So you get to be the expert because you know about stuff. You have done the study. You have done the time. You understand stuff a lot greater. So people are going to look to you for knowledge. Look to you. Hopefully they're smart enough to look to you because of your experiences in your years. Look to you for knowledge to make their life a little easier, their path a little easier. You have more resources when you're older because you've built those relationships, you've built those networks. You're better at adulting. I mean, adulting is not easy. It's a learned process. As I said, in your teens, you think you got it all figured out. In your 20s, you come to realize more and more closer to your 30s that you don't have it all figured out. But you learn about responsibility. You learn about what you need to do. And that comes with maturity. That comes with getting older. You make fewer foolish mistakes because you have that experience. You know that there's consequences for stuff. And that's something that we lack as a youth. At youth, we don't realize there's consequences for our actions. But as we get older, we realize there's consequences for our actions. So we make fewer stupid mistakes. That comes with maturity. You come to realize your own mortality. So that means you're not as brave as you used to be. You're not thinking you're invincible anymore because time has proven to you that you're not invincible, and any stupid or foolish decisions or mistakes could cost you dearly. So you tend to be a little bit smarter about your health and what you eat and what you do, and, checking out medical appointments and all that. You maintain that, and that comes with being smart for longevity. And, end of it all, we're gonna end this right here. Being older is awesome. Contrary to what our beauty and youth-obsessed culture tells us, aging is sacred and old age is glorious. Consider the words which say, "Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life." There's so many perks to being older and wiser and wisdom every step of the way. And although you don't really realize it, at the young age. When you get older, you come to appreciate all that. Eleanor Roosevelt said, Google Eleanor Roosevelt for those that don't know, said, "Today is the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be again." While that truth can be a little unsettling, remember that every day you have on this earth gets you one day closer to the experiences and the fulfillment that you can experience in life. I mean, hey, your best days are definitely yet to come. You just have to appreciate the journey along the way. So that's it for today. I just wanted to say, hey, you know what? The greatness of getting old. You might not appreciate it when you're young looking onwards, but when you get here, you are glad that you took the journey you did and the experiences and everything else along the way. Thank you very much for joining me today for episode 98 of Soapbox Daily. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. It is Wednesday. Keep in mind, we do have our long format podcast this evening. Feel free to check that out if you'd like over at getoffmysoapbox.com for more information on that show. I hope you have an amazing day moving forward, and I will see you next episode.